CRM was supposed to improve customer relationships. Instead, it's shorthand for can't resolve much. Which means you may have sunk a fortune into software that just bounces customer issues around but never actually solves them. On the ServiceNow AI platform, CRM stands for something better. With AI built into one platform, customers aren't mired in endless loops of automated indifference. They get what they need, when they need it. Bad CRM was then. This is ServiceNow.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome to No Brakes, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. I'm Ian Brannan, and in this episode, reaction to the second leg of the second semi-final in the Row Motor All Premiership Playoffs. And it's the Leicester Lions who'll be meeting the Ipswich Witches.
And this is going to be enough. And the number one man for the Leicester Lions sees his team through to the final.
We've got reaction from the fixture, plus later on we'll hear from team manager of the Lions, Stewart Dickson, ahead of his second successive playoff final.
I think I did say before the first leg even took place, it could be who gets a little bit of luck or who doesn't get any bad luck. And I think ultimately it came down to that.
Plus reaction from the Cab Direct Championship to come as well, including the battle between the Glasgow Tigers and the Poole Pirates, as the Pirates make it 2 from 3 so far, heading to the final of the KO Cup and the BSN Series, with the league to come.
Yeah, it's a pointy end of the season, but yeah, it's a much quiet part of the season. With everything's getting a bit spread out now, but we've made 2 finals. Obviously red cards in a week or so, and then focus on that one next, and then see what happens after that. And the main thing is just getting them finals, and then we start again.
All this and more on the way in the latest episode of No Brakes, No Fear.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome then to No Brakes, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. I'm Ian Brannan, and we start at the Hydroscand Arena, where on Monday night, Leicester moved through to the second successful Row Motor All Premiership Grand Final for them after an epic semi-final win, going right down to the wire against the Sheffield Tigers.
And this is going to be enough. And the number one man for the Leicester Lions sees his team through to the final. What a night of Speedway it is. And it's been a fantastic contest between 2 super teams.
So it ended then 47-43 on the night to the Leicester Lions, and it was the narrowest of aggregate margins as well. 1 point in it, 90 points to 89 to set up a title showdown with Ipswich after the Speedway of Nations at the start of October. The aggregate lead changed hands 5 times. It was a remarkable night of racing, with Leicester losing a 5-1 in Heat 10. Luke Becker shed a chain on the last lap, but they moved 5 points ahead overall over the next 2 races. The Tigers fought back with a stunning ride from Jack Holder to pass Max Frick in Heat 13, and successive 4-2s meant they were just 1 point behind going into the decider. But after a restart, Ryan Douglas was brought down heading into the first bend. Home skipper Max Frick conjured up the sensational start from the outside to get his team over the line. Frick top scoring then with 12+1, and he's been speaking after that fixture with Dave Rowe.
Max Frick, we have to start with Heat 15, and wow, what a start you pulled from Gate 4. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it was a bit of a clutch start when we needed one. So the first one didn't work out that great for us, but luckily enough we were able to get a rerun, and I was able to make a bit of a change and make sure it was a little better.
What a meeting overall, what a tie overall, 2 such evenly matched sides, and it must have felt good to be part of.
Yeah, that was really close, and they pushed us all the way tonight. They rode really well, their whole team. They rode awesome. So we've had a couple of races against them this season. I think we've raced them 3 times here already this year. And we've won quite convincingly, so they've definitely picked up their game and rode awesome tonight as well. So kept us on our toes all the way to the very end.
Had some bad luck with Luke Becker dropping a chain when he's on a 5-1 with you in Heat 10, so good character all round to come back and still see it through.
Yeah, exactly. But, I think the whole team chipped in and rode really well tonight, all the way through. Luke, a big improvement tonight, so that's really good to see as well.
Now, you took the team into the grand final last year. It didn't quite work out against Bellevue. This year it's Ipswich in a couple of weeks' time. What are your thoughts ahead of that tie?
It's going to be tough. They've been, a phenomenal team all year, and they're very good in their home track. So we're going to have to bring our A game, but I think everyone's ready for it.
The first leg is here, so could that be a help? Try and build a lead, hopefully.
Hopefully, but you never know how it's going to turn out. But hopefully the weather holds out for us. It's going to be in a couple of weeks from now, so it's going to be cold, a bit like tonight. Looking forward to it.
Well done, Max. Fantastic meeting. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
It was also a fairly decent night for Kyle Howarth as well. Had a great night against his former club, of course. He scored 9 points, but once again, he's back in a playoff final.
Yeah, you see Max make the start, and then obviously Dougie was in third, and we've worked hard, and it's a tough meeting tonight, and it was very close. But this is what the playoffs and finals are all about: close meetings. The two strongest teams are in the air going head to head, and look, this could have been a final tonight, and Sheffield really put a good fight up, and we fought back too, and the really last few weeks were big, and so just to see the boys dig deep and manage to do that in the last heat decider shows what this team's about. Leicester, all the riders 1 to 7, so nice to do it, and nice to be in another final. My first year with Leicester, and yeah, to knock Sheffield out, it's my old club. I still have a lot of respect for the club and the fans, but yeah, it's nice to go through.
So it's all down to the grand final of the Rowe Motor Oil Premiership, and that will be contested between the Leicester Lions and the Ipswich Witches. For the Sheffield Tigers then, huge frustration, gutting for your season to come to an end like that, missing out by just the 1 point. We'll hear from the captain, Josh Pickering, in a moment. First of all, team manager Simon Stead with Dave Rowe.
Yeah, really disappointed, but I can't ask for any more than that, Dave. They give me absolutely everything. They give me everything over the course of the 2 legs, like they have done all season. So we're all disappointed as a team. I'm disappointed for the riders. I'm disappointed for the fans and for our management. But it was a great effort. Like I said, I can't ask any more than that.
I don't think Jack Holden made a start across the 2 legs of the semi-final, and yet some of the races he's involved in, the one with Max Frick in heat 13, it just showed the attitude in your team.
Yeah, he's world class. He's probably missed more starts over the course of the last 2 meetings than he has for the last however many years he's ridden for me. But his commitment and his riding's been something else. So it just goes to show. But that as a number one, you're riding like that, and that filters through the rest of the team. Like I said, I can't ask any more from any of them. They've all given me everything, and it just a bit of a sour taste in our mouths. It's probably we didn't lose it tonight really. A lot of the bits that went on Thursday last week probably made it really difficult for them. But as for tonight, yeah, super performance really.
You forced your way back in. I thought your reserves were both excellent all night, and then it sort of gets to heat 15, and you've probably got the preferable gates in that race. So you're thinking you could just nick that 4-2 there.
Yeah, and look, I think that the first start of that one, our boys were away. I think on another night, Ryan could have gone. We saw that at Sheffield in heat 14. Then that if that had been an all-4 back, which would have probably been the sensible decision, then I think the referee, I think he used his head. I think all 4 was probably the right decision. I just wish there'd have been a little bit more of that over the course of the 2 legs.
Just on the season as a whole, I know it's hard to put it into words at this stage after defeat, but with all you've had to go through, especially losing Ty at the very start, making changes midway through, can you still look at it as a successful season, even though it hasn't quite made the final you wanted?
I think in terms of making another playoff semi-final, I think is a good result considering everything that's gone on. However, to come away with no silverware, I can't class that as a success. I don't think any of my boys will class that as a success. But it's made us hungry for more.
So disappointment for the Sheffield Tigers, fans, riders and management. Let's hear from the team captain then, Josh Pickering with Ryan Guest.
Well, Pickering, just missing out on this year's grand final by one solitary single point. Gutted is an understatement right now.
Struggle to put into words, to be honest. It's mate. You can moments like this, you'd rather get done by 30. You know, like when there's a clear winner and like you're obviously disappointed and you're upset that you let your team, like your fans, everything down, but to go down by 1 point and just look back at...
Yeah, like you say, it's natural in the aftermath to look back at so many potential key moments. One thing that nobody can deny, that the effort of the team tonight in particular, when a lot of people were writing the Tigers off, it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, we were 10 down, finished 4 down, you know. Like, fair play to Leicester. Like, I'm not a sore loser by any means. I'm just a very disappointed person, captain, I suppose. Like, we put our heart and soul into this team, and you know, we're back from the top the whole way through, led by Mark and Damien, you know, and then Steady does his job the whole year round for us, and then all us boys, we all, you know, put in and things like that, and we're back from all our fans as well, both home and away. So I can't ask for any more than that, but it's just, honestly, mate, I'm biting my tongue. If I really said what I'm feeling right now, I don't think you can use it.
When the dust does settle, once a bit of time has passed, when you consider everything that's been thrown at this team this year, right from the start with the injury to Woofy and everything that's followed from there, it has been one remarkable effort all round.
Mate, we just got down and just kept getting back up, and that's what we've got to do. If you get set back, you keep going forward, and you know, it's just hard, mate. Like, it's a time of year, like you can't blame anything. The track was absolutely beautiful tonight. The weather was on our side. There was no rain or anything like that. You know, everyone was feeling it coming in here today, and like I'm more than proud of our efforts all year, that's for sure. But I really do feel that Leicester was our strongest opposition, both home and away, and it's all well and good to say this, but I do feel as if we finished the night in front here, the league title would have been ours once again. That's the feeling I had. And for it to go down the way it did, and especially, you know, Heat 15, me and Jack were away 5-1 and Dougie slayed it down and get the rerun. It's what you have to do, you know. But earlier in the night, Chris got cleaned up in the first corner, stayed on somehow, and then it was not pulled back, you know. So the word unsatisfactory is such a grey area in my opinion, because you can have people with such good bike skills and get hung in the wrong position at the right time. Just stay on, but then of course they didn't crash. The race continues on, you know. So yeah, like I'm not blaming the referee, not blaming anything, mate. It's just, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. We've fought all year for this right now, and just to lose by 1 point, mate, it's just, yeah.
And just finally, no real surprise to see such a big gathering of Tigers supporters over on bend number 1 here at Leicester tonight. That they've stuck through by the team through thick and thin. Thursday night, we know it's kind of a nothing meeting against Ipswich, nothing riding on it as such, but in a way it's going to be nice to have one last meeting as this group together in front of the home fans, and thank them for everything they've done this season as well.
Yeah, well, for me, to be honest, everything's riding on it. We're just going to go out there and we're going to give it to Ipswich as much as we can and show the reason why we should have been in that final, you know. So, yeah, I know right now I'm absolutely gutted, and, you know, I'm going to be pissed off for Brooke on the way home for things that have put up with me. But, yeah, like, all in all, looking back at the whole season, on a personal level, I feel like I've always been there and done my part. Yeah, I could have scored more points here and there, but, you know, been switched up into the number 5 position and feel like I'm doing my job at that now. So, we just keep moving forward and, yeah, take it as it comes, mate.
Pickering, many thanks for your time as well.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to everyone's support.
Yes, so the end of the road for the regular season as far as the Sheffield Tigers are concerned. They do have this extra fixture on the 25th, the Thursday, the outstanding fixture between Sheffield and the Ipswich Witches. But the playoffs will be moving into that first week of October after the Speedway of Nations, and it will be the 6th of October, the Monday night, for the first leg of the Road Motor All Premiership Grand Final. And that'll be at Leicester. So the Leicester Lions versus the Ipswich Witches in the first leg. The second leg at Vauxhall Stadium on the 9th of October. and that'll, of course, be Ipswich versus Leicester, and that is where the title will be decided, and it will, of course, also be live on TNT Sports on the TV as well. But, of course, get yourself down there. That will be an epic night of Speedway, whatever the outcome, even if you're not got a horse in the race. If you're in the area, get down to that, because that will be an incredible atmosphere and an incredible night of Speedway in the Row Motor All Premiership, as everything is decided once and for all on Thursday, the 9th of October. There has been some other news regarding Sheffield Speedway this week, and announcement that Sheffield Speedway is up for sale with immediate effect. The fixture on Thursday, the 25th, being the final under the current promotion. The current owners took over the club in 2014. Along the way, they've taken the Tigers, first of all, into the Premiership, and they've also given solid backing as well, helping them bring in 6 pieces of silverware to South Yorkshire over the course of that 11 seasons. But the Bates family and Peter Mole have decided that they will leave at the end of the current season, and any interested parties, declare your interest, apply within, as they say. So that is some news. There's much more on the Sheffield Tigers website, and if you want the details of how to get in touch, should you be interested, then office@sheffield-speedway.com is the email address, but get onto the Sheffield Tigers website for more news on that. Okay, that's it for our little roundup, because of course not been much going on in the Row Motor All Premiership. It has all been looking ahead to what's going on with the playoffs. Now we know who's in the final. There will be a break, it's an international break, if you like, in Speedway, because we've got the Speedway of Nations getting underway next week, and I keep hearing people saying it's why are we stopping everything, because it's next weekend. It is not next weekend. There's the qualifiers as well, so you've got the semi-finals, and the first of those is on Tuesday, so it does really take up the whole week when you factor in travel and practice and media commitments and all that kind of stuff. So we've got the semi-finals and the finals to come, and also SON2 as well, the Speedway of Nations 2, all coming up as well during all of that. So it is going to be a big week of Speedway. And looking at the semi-finals, here are the lineups. Semi-final 1, and this is the one that Great Britain will be in, is as follows. So you've got Team A, which are Italy. Now, this would have had Paco Castagna in it, but unfortunately, Paco Castagna has broken his shoulder racing in the Czech Golden Helmet. So Paco Castagna is not in that side, but Nico Cavati will move up to be the captain and the number 1 in that side for Italy. So Italy are Team A. Team B are Germany, which feature Norik Bladorn, Kai Hülkenberg and Valentin Grobauer. Team C are Norway. We've got Matthias Polstad, Glenn Moy, and Lasse Fredriksson, who, of course, latterly has been riding with the Plymouth Gladiators. That's Team C. Team D are Latvia with Andrei Lebedevs. We've got Kostigovs and Kolodinskis in that one. And for Sweden, they're Team E. This could be a tough test, actually. Jakob Torsell, Freddie Lindgren and Timo Lahti in that one. Linus Sundström, the team manager of Sweden as well. Team F will be Great Britain, and captained by Robert Lambert, Dan Bewley and Tom Brennan are the trio representing in that. Of course, the SON is a pairs competition, in case you're new to it. And Team G, Slovenia, Matic Ivacic, we've got Anzi Grumek and Luka Omerzel. So those are the teams that Britain will be up against. And we've got the second semi-final, which will be the next day, and that is the Czech Republic, featuring Vaclav Milik, Jan Kvek and Adam Bubba Bednar. Team B will be Denmark with Leon Madsen, Michael Jepsen Jensen and Mikkel Mikkelsen. Team C, Argentina, Fernando Garcia. We've got Christian Zuliaga and Facundo Olbin. A couple of names there that people might recognise from the past. Team D, Australia, Brady Kurtz, Jack Holder and Jason Doyle. We've got Ukraine with Nazar Parnitsky, who's recently won the SON2 titles. He's the Under-21 World Champion. Marko Levishin and Roman Kasputin in that one for the Ukraine. Team F, we've got France, Dimitri Berger, David Balego and Matthias Trezeu. And for Finland, Team G, Jesse Mustonen Antti Vuolas and Tero Arnio. And so from those, after the 21 heats in each semi-final, the top 2 teams will automatically qualify for the big grand final, which is on the Saturday, October the 4th. And joining Poland are already seeded through because they're the hosts. The 3rd and 4th place teams in each semi-final will then face off in a final qualifier, with the winning teams also advancing to the final showdown as well. So semi-final 1 on the Tuesday, semi-final 2 on the Wednesday. And then in and among that as well, you've got SON2, which is going to be happening as well. And SON2 also has British representatives too. And for Great Britain, it'll be Dan Thompson, Luke Harrison and Luke Colleen up against Poland, Australia, Germany, Denmark, Czech Republic, Sweden and Latvia. But that's a one-off event. So good luck to the Great Britain team in both of those. And we'll hear a little bit later on from Dan Thompson as well, who is, of course, captaining the Great Britain SON2 lineup. And we'll hear from him later, but next we'll hear from Stewart Dickson, team manager of the Leicester Lions, next on No Breaks, No Fear.
Remember those endless summer days that felt like they just last forever? Sun rays kiss your skin. Grass tickles your toes as you bite into the creamy popsicle melting in your hand. Pure, unbothered bliss. Capture more sun-drenched memories with the Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration Multiplier from Liquid IV. This nostalgic vanilla flavor with notes of candied orange can help keep you hydrated while savoring your favorite golden hour moments. No matter how hot your summer gets, just 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you better than water alone. It's 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, with 8 vitamins and nutrients for refreshing on-the-go hydration. Live your summer dream with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code INDULGE20 at checkout. That's code INDULGE20 at liquidiv.com.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
This is No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. I'm Ian Brannan. Now, let's talk more about the Rowe Motor Oil Premiership Playoff Final. It will be contested between the Ipswich Witches and the Leicester Lions, and it was a dramatic finish to that contest on Monday night against the Sheffield Tigers. The Leicester Lions make it through to their 2nd successive playoff final, and Stewart Dickson, team manager, joins us now. Stewart, thanks for joining us. How was it then? I mean, for a fan, it was a fantastic meeting. For the neutral, of course, a fantastic meeting, going down to just 1 point. How was it for the team manager, though, is the first question.
It wasn't particularly enjoyable. There was a nervous enjoyment about it throughout, but I would have liked it wrapped up maybe heat 12, heat 13 if possible, so I could have enjoyed the last 2 or 3 races maybe without pressure and stress sort of thing. I know it's some folk might say it's only sports, only speedway, but when you're a couple of races away from reaching a 2nd successive grand final, you want to grab it with both hands. You're right, from the neutral, it had everything. Was Dougie, was he knocked off in heat 15? Did Jack Holder come off his line a bit? There's talking points throughout, and for me, that's what makes a good speedway meeting. We managed to get over the line. I think I did say before the first leg even took place, it could be who gets a little bit of luck or who doesn't get any bad luck. And I think ultimately it came down to that. And we managed to get it over the line. And obviously the celebrations at full time, after heat 15, not necessarily thinking that's you won the play. It's just the sheer relief, that 60 seconds of hoping that Max Frick's bike or his engine continues to keep going the whole way around. And there is no feeling like it when he crossed the line. And we all got a bit excited. That's what happened. But in fairness, all the riders all shook hands. I watched it the next day when I came up the road. And, it was, even though there might have been 1 or 2 refereeing decisions over the course of the 2 meetings, the riders and the management all shook hands, and it was good to see.
It was fantastic, and it could have been worthy of a final in itself, couldn't it? And one of those meetings that you could run it 10 times again, and you'd probably get a different outcome each time. But obviously now for yourselves, I remember speaking to you at the end of last season, and you said in the interview there that, you know, we came second best this time against Bellevue, but we'll be back next year to have another go. And indeed you are, and now you have got this opportunity again to go for a league title.
We do, and I do recall saying that to you. I think it would be nice to try and get back to another final. Not easy, you know. I think, you know, that, you know, and I'm not playing down our chances, but I've already looked at Bet365, who have Ipswich as heavy favourites at 1-2 on, and we're 64. So the bookies don't often get it wrong, but they did have Sheffield as slight favourites over us to reach the final. So they don't always get it right. I'll count for nothing come a week on Monday and a week on Thursday. There's an old saying that, you know, we're just glad to be in the final. While so much of that's true, there's obviously a big part of us, and when I say us, the whole club, riders, etc., that they want to go one step further. I'm under no illusions how difficult it will be. But as you rightly say, you know, none of us can write the script. No speedway matches are ever the same. So results against Ipswich, home and away, don't count for anything, really. You know, we start again, pretty obvious statement, but that gives us every chance to try and get a lead to take down there, which we're going to need. We're going to need something for sure.
On that, though, you will have in the back of your mind, though, that you are a team that have had success at Foxhall, which, you know, that will be the second leg. Admittedly, I think Jen Crossland was in charge of the team that night, but nonetheless, you go there with some confidence. It's not like you've had heavy defeats through the course of the previous encounters for the last couple of years.
No, you're right, and I take your point about Jen Crossland, because she very much reminds me all the time, sort of thing, that she was the team manager that night. Well, I also remind her that they were under strength that night, but she done very well to beat them. So it shows they can be beaten. Sheffield went to Ipswich last week and also won. You know, so it shows that they can be beaten. They have 7 riders who, just like my 7 riders, can be inconsistent. You know, we're all looking for that consistency. That's the key word. But they can lose at home, just as we can lose at home. I think Ipswich and Birmingham have turned us over this year at Leicester. So you know, the unpredictable can happen. I mean, we didn't fire on all cylinders on Monday night, but we managed to go over the line. And when it's funny, you play it in your head. Well, I certainly do anyway. A couple of nights before it, try to add up roughly what I think each rider of mine would score, give or take a point or two. And I come up with a figure around about 48, 49. You know, we never got that figure on Monday night. We weren't far. I think if Luke Becker hadn't got an engine failure, we could have got the 49. But again, this is what I spoke about, was the luck and the bad luck. You know, I don't wish bad luck on either team, but if you get a slice of good luck, then it can sometimes make a difference in these ties, yeah?
Going back to last year, what have you learnt from your previous experience of a Premiership Playoff Final? Because I think it was a different way round, wasn't it? You were away in the first leg, and the second leg was back at Leicester. But nonetheless, the importance of that first leg, I think that really did the damage, didn't it? Going into that second leg, down by so many points as you were. What was it? 18 points, I think, or something like that, wasn't it? Where it was a lot to chase down, wasn't it?
It was too much. In the playoffs, you know, we could, say we were win by 6 points on Monday night. A lot of folk would maybe say, well, that's not enough to go to Ipswich with. But 6 on playoff final nights, you know, there's pressure on the team who's behind, whether it be Leicester or Sheffield who was behind. You know, but the 18, we for some reason ran out of energy. And I think that was the key word, was energy for the final. And I shouldn't be saying that as a team manager, but I'm honest, and I just sensed something in the final for the off, that we'd almost gave everything we had to get over Ipswich in the semi-final, if you remember the really tough, wet conditions. And I don't know, we put so much into that. I think you'll also put a lot into the 2 legs there. I think next week we have, I know the weather looks good, but from a point of view, I think we recharge the batteries, galvanise ourselves a little bit. I know Ipswich might not have raced for, they've obviously got a meeting at Sheffield, but they've been away from their track for a while. So, all these sort of things could marry up in the final. There's all these sort of things that we talk about. But from a Leicester point of view, we need to make sure we've got the energy levels up. I'm pretty sure we will have. And, what I hope for more than anything else is that both clubs can get decent weather to prepare the tracks so that we serve up something like we served up in the semi-final against Sheffield, because it would be nice to have a showcase final regardless of who comes out on top.
You have been on very good form at home through the course of the season. So do you feel then that you're coming into this period of the season with a bit more energy now than the previous one? As you say, it was quite a draining sort of process getting to that final, but you seem to have a bit more wind in the sails maybe this year?
Hopefully we do. It's funny how my mind will contrasting thoughts. I come away from the Sheffield meeting, even though we only lost by 3, but I had genuine worries. Luke Becker obviously been one of them because he had a really tough night, but what a performance he put on Monday night, which kind of got the doubts out of my head that, that maybe he wasn't quite right. I think without that chain coming off, he's going to score paid 10 on Monday night at Leicester there. Now, to do that against a level of opposition of Sheffield with the two holders, Josh Pickering and Anders Rowe, who's very, very good. That for me, Magic, they brought it as well. For me, Luke Becker, I know he ended up getting the 6 points, but he would have get paid 10. For me, that was the sort of returns that he was giving us at the start of the season when we were proven to be very, very good at home. If Luke can continue that for him, I know Sheffield's not his favourite track, whereas he actually does like the Ipswich track. It's no unlike Leicester with the straights and the tight corners. And I think that's something he's been brought up in. So as much as it's not a one-man team, it showed you how important it was to have the Luke Becker back that we had at the start of the season.
Yeah, he certainly seems to be building back into it. And it takes a while, doesn't it, to come back from an injury like that as well. And I think a few people had their heart in their mouth when he came off the bike as well in that previous fixture.
Yep, 100%. To be honest, as much as a playoff, I was more interested that it was okay rather than to drop 2 points, because he's been through a lot. He's pushed himself really hard to get back. And if anybody deserves to be in a final, it's Luke Becker, yeah.
Yeah, big week coming up for Luke Becker, and unfortunately he's not representing his team, the United States, in the Speedway of Nations, which is a separate story, but nonetheless he'll be in good shape for the playoff final, and 2 big fixtures to come. Just to touch on a couple of other things, Stuart, you've got another big meeting coming up at the weekend at Leicester. Ryan Douglas with his testimonial. This is one that was delayed, wasn't it? The weather getting the better of it, obviously gutting for him at the time, but he's back on, and hopefully the conditions a lot better this weekend.
Yeah, the forecast, maybe a couple of showers in the afternoon. I said, we shall not do any harm. It's like 0.1 or 0.2 millimetres, so it ain't going to cause any problems. Fingers crossed the forecast stays that way. I'm travelling down to Oxford in a couple of hours as I speak to you. I'll stay down and I get working on the track tomorrow, Friday, which looks pleasant, and I'll get it well packed in, just to make sure we don't take any chances. 4 o'clock start, Dougie's got a good field. 1 or 2 riders, like Matthias Nielsen, who've never raced over here. But be good to watch them. I'll certainly take a wee interest in these guys as well. That racing probably Leicester for the first time. Hopefully he gets a good turnout, he gets a good day. It's also more relaxing. I use the words, it's almost a stress-free day. The most important thing I've got to do is make sure I get a good track, that we present them a decent track. I think something along the lines that we had on Monday night would please all the riders. So, but I don't have team manager responsibilities after tonight for a week or so, which is quite good. Unfortunately, I miss Berwick away at Workington on Saturday. Stevie Jews will stand in for that one because I need to be at Ryan's meeting to do the track. Graham Trollope, the normal track guy who backs me up, the Sheffield track guy as well, is getting eye surgery on Saturday, so I wish him well. And obviously I need to be at Leicester because you need a licensed track creator to get the meeting on. So that's where I'll be on Saturday. And I hope Ryan has a fantastic day. He's one of the nicest riders out there. maybe too nice at some times, you know what I mean? Something needs to maybe toughen up a little bit on the track, but that's up to him if he wants to try and get to another level. But as personalities go, I think he's liked by 99% of the riders, and I hope he has a smashing day.
Yeah, as you say, a good lineup there as well. Josh Pickering. Oh, it's all his mates, as you well imagine, from Australia, likes of Josh Pickering and Sam Masters, and Leon Flint's in the lineup as well. It's Rowan Tungate. Who else got? Kai Thompson, Nikolai Klein, Jason Doyle. Jason Doyle
getting a few cheeky laps before the playoff final. So I maybe need to have a little bit of different preparation on Saturday, just so it's not the same track from 9 days later. I'm not sure about that one. If I'd known that, I'd have had a word in Dougie's ear. But no, listen, you've got an ex-world champion coming along. For me, he's the star. He's the star of the show amongst all the other riders that's coming, and I look forward to preparing a track that's safe for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on Saturday at 4:00. And as you mentioned, Berwick are rounding up their season. Obviously, the season is largely done. They've got that outstanding fixture against Workington. So a bit of a last hurrah there. And, it's farewell to the Bandits of 2025, really, isn't it? How do you assess the season overall? Another frustrating one, I think, isn't it?
I think there's certainly one word we can use. It's been an improvement on last season. I think, we're battling out for fifth spot now with Workington. So it's certainly been a better season. I would also say maybe a wee bit frustrating that, obviously we couldn't get, the team strengthened up maybe a couple of weeks sooner than what we did, and we might have made a challenge, because the way the team was riding in the last few weeks, was certainly improved. I think, I'd said publicly before, I'd like to thank Jamie Courtney, the owner, and the other promoters for backing me, because I can be quite determined to try and get to strengthen the team, and they backed me 100% in that department, and we rode a lot better. It was a much better season. Ultimately, we came up short, but I think for the Bandits, it's certainly been improvement. It's a step in the right direction.
And as you say, I think it'd be interesting to see how Berwick had got on had you got Jonas Jepsen and Nick Morris in the team 4 or 5 weeks sooner, because they've been really strong, haven't they? And obviously they've caught a lot of attention, I think, shall we say, in the last few weeks.
Yeah, we did. With some really good performances at home and very competitive away on our travels. So it was just listen. It's one of those things. There's nothing we can really do or control about it, but it's pleasing to see so many people there on a Saturday night, and that's their Saturday night out. How much they love their speedway in the border country, and to see the happy smiling faces when we win a meeting, has probably been good. And up at Berwick, it's one of those things. It's a good atmosphere. I think it's been touched about before, not by me, by other people. There's just a good atmosphere, and there's no the same intenseness. Maybe I bring the intenseness on myself at Leicester, but there's no quite the same at Berwick. Doesn't mean I don't want to win just as much as I do at Leicester. I do, but there's a nice feel about going to Berwick on a Saturday afternoon, going down to the seaside, going to the chippy, that sort of thing. There's just something nice about it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, yeah.
It's a speedway town, though, isn't it, Stuart? As you well know, personally in your life, it's a town. Everybody knows about the speedway. Everybody understands it. You walk around the town, everybody's got the tops, the speedway tops on, or you see speedway riders knocking around the town in the restaurants and stuff, maybe beforehand. And it is such a big part, and it's not like that everywhere.
No, it's not. I think you're right. The smallness of the population of the town. I mean, I remember talking to Scott Courtney, and he said if he was going to go out in Berwick on a Saturday afternoon, have a walk round, or go a 10-minute walk to somewhere, he would say to me, it would never be 10 minutes, because the amount of people that he knew and they knew him. Peter Waite also told me, ex-promoter from many years ago, the amount of people that he knew in the town. And I think Berwick's got that closeness sort of thing with the supporters. Something that you maybe not get a big city club at Glasgow, maybe Leicester, Birmingham type of thing, because such a big area, and football normally dominates those sort of areas. So Berwick's quite unique in that, and it's just a great setup all round.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I was going to say I'll see you on Saturday, but I won't because I'm doing the commentary for the live stream at Workington. But you'll be at Dougie's thing. Good luck with that, and good luck with the playoffs, and look forward to two exciting close meetings. Obviously, you want to actually demolish Ipswich in the first leg, but for everybody else, I think we're looking for a good even contest, eh?
Yep, I would agree. You know, the home teams always look to see what they can get. And if we are lucky enough to get a lead, no matter what we get, I still would want more on the night because that's just the way a home team manager thinks. But thanks for having me on. Cheers.
Stewart Dickson, team manager of the Leicester Lions on No Breaks, No Fear. Now, coming up in the final parts, we'll talk more about the Glasgow Tigers and the Poole Pirates. The Poole Pirates make it through to two finals in the space of a week, the Knockout Cup and the BSN Series, and we'll hear some reaction from that clash on Monday night between the Pirates and the Tigers in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear, including hearing from Dan Thompson ahead of the Speedway of Nations next week.
No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
Let's talk about the Cab Direct Championship now then, and the Poole Pirates are certain to be able to defend in the final two of their three titles from 2024. And they're still in the running, of course, against the Redcar Bears for the league playoffs as well. But that's to come in a week or two's time. But the Poole Pirates through to the BSN Series final. And on Tuesday night, secured their place in the final of the MaxiCab KO Cup final after a successful defence of their first leg lead at Glasgow on Tuesday night. The Tigers had to pull back 14 points from the start. The Pirates were under pressure when Louis Kerr withdrew after a crash in his first ride. And also they were without Richard Lawson as well, who was already missing from the meeting. But it was all down to a team effort in the end. And Will Cairns stepped up to the plate. 8+3 from Will Cairns from 7 rides to support skipper Zach Cook, who bagged himself 11 points. Guest Jonas Jepsen got 9, filling in for Richard Lawson as the visitors secured an aggregate win in the penultimate race. Glasgow won the night 49-41. Leon Flint top scored with 13+1, whilst Dan Thompson with 11+3 and Chris Harris on 11 were also in double figures. We'll hear from both of those in a couple of moments. And, of course, Dan Thompson captaining the under-21 side in Speedway of Nations 2 next week in Torrance. So that to come. First of all, let's hear from the Poole Pirates team captain, Zach Cook. I caught up with him after that fixture at Ashfield on Tuesday night.
Up against it from this morning with Rich having to pull out, and then, Jonas stepped in late and he done an awesome job at the number 1 position. Then, obviously, losing Louis, first ride. So it was going to be a tough night from then, and we just luckily all the boys chipped in, done their bit, and everyone was working hard in the pits, just with the track conditions changing a little bit and keeping up with the pace. But yeah, everyone done their job, and we mightn't have won all the races, but we were just focusing on them minor positions, and that's what got us there in the end. It was close, but yeah, that's all we had to do.
Say reserves were your meetings, and Will Cairns took his full maximum amount of rides tonight, and he was involved in really the two heats that were pivotal with the turning point, because Tigers were on a comeback. They got it down to a 6-point deficit. They were getting back-to-back 4 2s and 5 1s, and then Poole hit back with 4 2s and 5 1s of their own. Will was involved in both of those.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, it had to be a big group performance tonight. Couldn't just single anyone out, and obviously with reserves having to take so many rides, it was we really needed them to do a job for us, and they did. And I think all the boys can be proud tonight, and we just wait for that final now.
Well, this is it. It's getting to the crunch part. You're obviously still alive in all 3 competitions. The BSN Series is now in the bag. You've got the Knockout Cup. You don't know who you're going to be riding yet. And then, obviously, the league still to come in a week or so after the Speedway of Nations.
Yeah, it's a pointy end of the season, but it's a most quiet part of the season. With everything's getting a bit spread out now. But we've made 2 finals. Obviously, Redcar's in a week or so, and then focus on that one next, and then see what happens after that. And main thing is just getting them finals, and then we start again.
And coming here has been a fairly happy hunting ground for the Pirates over the years. Obviously, it's a long way for you to come, but at this stage of the season, of course, a lot of riders talking about how different the conditions were, both with the cold air because this time of year, but also that affects the track. So a lot of setups were sort of out of the window for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, definitely. I missed the meeting here earlier in the year, so I hadn't been here for over a year, so it was a bit tricky for me. But yeah, definitely track conditions were changing a bit with it being so cold. But all the boys were working hard. You had to sort of keep on top of it and keep trying something if you weren't on the pace. And yeah, everyone done well, and yeah, it was a good night by the whole team.
Okay, well done, Zach. Another cup final. Long trip home.
Yeah, just a short 7 hours, but got the win, so it makes it better.
Cheers, Zach.
Thank you.
Yeah, 7-hour drive after all that. I don't envy him, but they did indeed make it back because they were having the Blue Ribbon event on the Wednesday night, which all of the Poole Pirates riders were invited to be a part of. Unfortunately, Louis Kerr missed out through injury sustained there. Just a simple case of picking up a bit too much drive and just fell off the back of the bike, really. But the bike sort of landed on him a little bit as well, it looked like at the time. But he was certainly in some discomfort. But hopefully Louis is well and truly on the mend and back very soon. Let's hear from Chris Harris then. Bit of a disappointing night for the Glasgow Tigers, just missing out in the end, falling short. They did close the gap down to 6 points at one point, but then the Pirates turned it on its head with two back-to-back heat advantages to put them back in control. But Chris Harris nonetheless doing what Chris Harris does and going right round the boards in a successful, sensational move in, I think it was Heat 9, where he went around Zach Cook and Will Cairns in one go. It was pretty spectacular, and I caught up with him after the fixture.
Yeah, it started off with frills and spills, and obviously they lost Louis in his first heat, and then obviously we had a few crashes there and that, but all in all it was always going to be an uphill battle. The damage was done at Poole. We wasn't good enough down there in the second half of the meeting, and the damage was done there, and everyone tried their hardest tonight, but it just wasn't to be fair. They was better out the traps than us, and I won't say they was quicker on the track than us, but they were just quicker into that first corner.
It was certainly, for the neutral, it had something in it. There was, a bit of drama. There was some great racing. You did a bit of a vintage action going around the boards and showing out how it was done. So certainly some thrill. It was a meeting. It did have its moments, and ultimately just fell a few points short, really, in the end. Yeah, it did. It had everything other than, us getting through on aggregate. But, we got the home win, which is important. But, still disappointed that we're not in the final. It is the biggest home win for Glasgow over Poole for a couple of years, though. Poole have been a bit of a bogey side here, haven't they? But as you say, tonight they had their issues on the other side of the pits, but I'd say so did Edinburgh. Well, they did. Michael Palm-Toft, who came off, how's he? Yeah, I think I'm just a bit sore. I think he may have hurt his neck or something, but I'm sure he'll be all right for Friday. Just hope he has a bad one like he did tonight. Well, that's it. The next night is the big one on Friday. Obviously, local derby. Another 14 points to overcome, though. Yeah, it's a team you can't underestimate. They've got some good riders, so we've got to get our gating gloves on for Friday. So hopefully the crowd can get behind us again next week, and we go again, or this week. What do you put your finger on? Riders been saying obviously the conditions may be slightly different, the weather cooling down, track conditions slightly different, so maybe what you're expecting, is that part of it? Yeah, I don't really know. Really, we're pretty much on the same setups as normal, just a few tweaks here and there. It's just I don't really know the answer. It's just the race I come here, and Poole was better at the start, and so they done what they needed to do. All they needed to do is protect that 14-point lead, and that's what they was worried about, I think. So all in all, we go back to drawing board and we start again Friday. And finally, congratulations on silver medal in the long track. It was another close battle. Ultimately, we've got a British winner overall, though. But again, another good medal. It's been a good couple of weeks on the long track overall, I think, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been okay. It's obviously very disappointing not to get that gold. That's what we come here to do. But all in all, it was an up and down season. We had a lot of problems in every round where had something go wrong, so it didn't really help. But it's good that we had a British winner. It wasn't me, but no, to be fair, it went to a good deserving winner. Zach's, he's a good young lad. He's a good rider. The family's nice. We have a laugh when we're at the meetings together, even though we're against each other. We always have a laugh and that. So, at least it's come back to Britain, and hopefully next year I can take it off him. Chris Harris there, and Chris Harris will be in action on Thursday night, riding for the Ipswich Witches, filling in for Emil Sayfutinov in that fixture at Sheffield. And Chris Harris will then also be back in action on Friday. Big one for the Edinburgh Monarchs and the Glasgow Tigers. Edinburgh going 14 points up to the second leg of the Cab Direct Championship playoff semi-final between the two. There will be Scottish representation in the grand final. Who will it be? Glasgow or Edinburgh? That's going to be on Friday night. And also involved in that will be Dan Thompson, because Dan Thompson, he's been sensational for the Glasgow Tigers lately, particularly teaming up with Leon Flint. And once again, a strong performance on Tuesday night. Even though the Glasgow Tigers overall fell short, Dan Thompson, 11+3, sensational throughout the meeting. And I had a chat with Dan ahead of a big week coming up next week, of course, captaining the Great Britain under-21 side in Speedway of Nations 2 in Torun in Poland. So we talk about that a little later on as well. But here is Dan Thompson.
Yeah, well, obviously me and Leon did all we could. We got 3-5-1s together, and we did everything we could. It was hard. We kind of lost it in the first leg away at Poole, and there was a few dodgy calls in that meeting. And it's tense meetings. It's all high pressure environment at the minute, but Poole have rode well. Obviously they were missing Rich, who's one of the best in the league, so they weren't at full strength anyway. But we put up a fight, and halfway through we were kind of thinking we might be getting somewhere, but just let it slip in the end. But still, it's a good home win on the night, so if we do happen to meet in the grand final of the playoffs, then we're confident we can put in a bit of a better shift.
Yeah, if there is something to take from it, it is Glasgow's best performance against Poole here for a good couple of years at Ashfield. So as you say, you've got that to take from it. But as you say, ultimately just slightly too big a mountain to climb. But this combination that you've had with Leon for Glasgow has been really pivotal. Obviously the meeting would have been done much earlier than Heat 14 were it not for your performances tonight.
Yeah, we both have a chat with each other before each ride, and it's a good pairing to have because we do look out for each other, and obviously both have the same kind of aspiration in the sport, and he's moved up into the main body in the Premiership like I have, so it's a good pairing, and obviously very good mates off the track as well. So as I said, we did all we could, but it just wasn't enough.
Obviously you've got the next big fixture coming up on Friday, the local derby, another 14 points to overcome. How's that experience chasing that down tonight, maybe giving you a bit of a head start for Friday?
Yeah, I suppose so. It is frustrating, but we know what we can do at home, and there's a few good performances tonight. Obviously we missed Phil Lads a lot. He's been a heat leader for us around here, so again frustrating because we've won at Edinburgh a good few times this year, so to be 14 down again or however many it is, it's an uphill task, but as we showed tonight we can fight, and it's not over till it's over.
And Edinburgh will have a bit of a setback. Obviously Paco Castagna on the sidelines. He's got a broken shoulder in the Czech golden helmet, so they're going to have to find a way to replace him, and not easy to do that. So it will be a slightly different Edinburgh lineup that you face. And tonight you had Michael Palmtoft riding with you on the other side of the pits on Friday night, but he had a bit of an uncomfortable off. But I think he's all right to continue.
Yeah, obviously best wishes to Paco, and obviously Michael after his crash tonight. But he knows his way around here, and I'm sure Michael will be back on Friday, and they'll try and do their best to replace Paco as best as they can. But we've had some good home meetings against them, so we're going to need a big one on Friday, and if we want to win the league, then we've got to do it.
And then after that, everything stops for the Speedway of Nations. There's Speedway of Nations 2 as well, obviously the under-21. You've been riding in SGP2 this season. How's that experience then really set you up for what's going to be coming up in Torun? Obviously a different track for you, I guess. I think maybe you have been there in the past, riding with the Great Britain setup, but obviously a different occasion, SON Speedway.
Yeah, it is. I have been to Torun last year and got on reasonably well. I think round by round in the SGP2 I've improved on my scores, and I think if I could restart the series I could potentially push into the top Roger riders. I have learnt a lot, and the Son 2 meetings are cool as well, racing with another youngster for 7 or so heats. Obviously it was me and Leon last year, and I got injured. We were potentially on for a gold until that happened, so that was heartbreak, but there's one more go at it for me this year, and they're always cool events to be a part of.
in your overall riding, obviously we've seen how you've been going tonight for Glasgow, but how you've been going generally in the season. What has riding at that level brought you in terms of experience, in terms of the big meeting, I guess the pressure, but also probably technical setups and things like that you learn as well?
Yeah, it's all different for me because I haven't raced properly abroad yet. It's something I'm trying to do, and next year I think I will be doing that. So I'll try my best, and I've always thought if them riders were racing me on the English tracks, I'd obviously be very more experienced, but that's not the case. So learning them new tracks quickly and adapting to the different things we have over there it's been hard, but I think my last round showed that I've got things together, and I can do it.
Okay, well, good luck for the Speedway Nations, and also good luck for Friday.
Thank you.
Yeah, big week ahead for Dan Thompson there. Looking at the rest of the week ahead in the Cab Direct Championship, as we touched on, of course, the first grand final place should be resolved on Friday as Glasgow host Edinburgh, needing to pull back 14 points. Again, bit of deja vu for the Glasgow faithful there, and that is on Friday night. It's also going to be live on BSN as well. We've also got the other parts of the Knockout Cup semi-final to be resolved as well. Obviously, we know that the Poole Pirates are through to the final. The other semi-final is featuring Redcar and Oxford. They meet on Friday and Sunday, and so that should be resolved over the course of the weekend as well. So we should have our finalists for the Knockout Cup. And on Saturday, Workington face Berwick in the final regular league match of the campaign on Saturday afternoon. Poole host their big individual meeting on Wednesday night. That's already completed. And we've got the winners there as well. The result of that was actually a win for Anders Rowe. Well done to Anders Rowe. He finished with 14 points. Richard Lawson was second, and Adam Ellis finished third. That was the podium at the Blue Ribbon in Poole, the first time it's been held since 2016. And Eddie Kennett was in the lineup as well, and he was the defending champion, but coming out of hibernation there for Eddie Kennett. Okay then, well, we'll round things up by having a look at what is coming up in the Speedway world in the week ahead, the fixtures coming up in British Speedway. And to be honest, it's obviously a fairly steady week because the Speedway of Nations takes over much of the programme. As we touched on what's going on there at the weekend in the Championship. In addition to that, we've got National League action, National Development League, Middlesbrough versus Oxford. That's up at Redcar, and that is at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And as we heard with Stewart Dickson, we've got Ryan Douglas's testimonial going on. It is a packed lineup led by Jason Doyle as one of the star acts, along with Matthias Nielsen, Bartosz Smektala, a couple of riders that you rarely see on these shores, Sam Masters, and some legends as well. Scott Nichols involved, also Carl Howarth, Tobias Musielak, Nick Morris due to take part as well. Luke Becker. Actually, I'm not sure if Nick Morris will take part because he'll be due to be riding for Berwick, won't he, on that day? So that might well have changed. Nikolai Clint, Kai Thompson, and Rowan Tungate, Leon Flint. It's going to be a good lineup, so get down there for that if you can. At Leicester, it's a 4 o'clock tapes up there for Ryan Douglas's testimonial. And then looking a little further into the future as far as the upcoming fixtures are concerned in Speedway, because we've still got a few things going on despite the Speedway of Nations taking place, which really takes out the majority of the major fixtures. Sunday, we've got the KO Cup semi-final second leg between Oxford and Redcar. That's at 5 o'clock. And then there's a bit of a break, really, for everything. Thursday, October the 2nd, the next thing, which is the Young Stars Pride of the East, which takes place at King's Lynn at 7:30, and a packed lineup of upcoming talent there in that one. And then Friday, October 3rd, WSRA National Development League between Middlesbrough and Bellevue, taking place at Redcar's track. And then Saturday, NDL Trophy action between Plymouth and Leicester at 7 o'clock. And then we're back into the big stuff with Cab Direct Championship Playoff semi-final second leg. Big fixture, October 5th, Redcar v Poole. Poole are up, but only just. 42-48 at the halfway stage there. That starts at 6 p.m. And then on Monday, even bigger, we've got the Road Motor All Premiership Grand Final. First leg, Leicester v Ipswich. Don't miss that. That's on October the 6th. But that's after the Speedway of Nations. But we'll be back next week with another episode of No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast. Take care, and we'll catch you next time.
No Breaks, No Fear, the official British Speedway podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Alright, we are going where?
Back to school shopping.
This is the Playoffs for Parenting, aka getting ready to get back to school. As we get ready for back to school,
Doesn't matter your income, your race, your background, whether you have a disability or not.
Our public schools are a place where all kids feel like they belong.
My child.
my children, my family, my friends, kids,
My community.
All students. All students.
All students belong in a great public school.
Let's get ready for back to school at nea.org/backtoschool.